What if I told you Fernie just posted one of the strongest benchmark prices we've ever seen, while sales are quietly collapsing around the Kootenays? And what if the real shift isn't price, but it's actually power? Because February 2026 just gave us a data release that most people will completely misinterpret. And if you don't understand what's actually happening in this market right now, you're going to make the wrong move in 2026. Let's break this down. Before we zoom into Fernie, we need to zoom out. According to the stats of Interior Realtors for February 2026, across the entire Kootenay region, sales were down 29.4%. Dollar value down 35%. Inventory is up slightly at 0.7%, and new listings are down 9.3%. Wow. Now that's a lot of noise. That's a lot of contraction. And the broader Kootenay region just experienced a nearly 30% drop in transactions year over year. Do me a favor and buy your realtor some lunch, because this is a serious slowdown. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Now let's isolate right in on Fernie, okay? From the same February 2026 release, single family home sales, there were three. Benchmark price, $967,000. Price is up 6.7% year over year. Sales are up 50% from a very small base. Three sales only. And we didn't have any single family home sales in Fernie in January. That's it. Three in the first 2 months of 2026. Yeah, like I said. Now here's the part that most people are going to celebrate though. Craig, prices are up almost 7%. The market's strong. Okay, now you need to slow down a bit here, because three sales does not equal strength. Believe me, it equals thin volume. Thin markets can move prices very quickly in both directions, either up or down. That's the first big change coming to Fernie. So let's look at the attached product, the townhomes, condos. Townhomes first. Guess how many were sold in February? Zero, not a zilch. Benchmark pricing is $589,100. Price down 1%. Zero townhouse sales in February. This is not a booming segment of the market at all. Now let's look at apartments and condos in Fernie Central here, right? Three sales. Benchmark pricing is $562. Sales are up 200%. Price is down 0.9%. So condos are moving slightly, but price growth is flat to slightly negative, and that tells us something critical. Buyers right now are super price sensitive. They're not stretching, they're not speculating, they're negotiating, and they're negotiating hard. So now let's zoom out again, and we're going to talk about the single family across the region in the Kootenays, okay? Days on market, 65 days to sell. That's down at 23.1% year over year. Properties are selling faster regionally, but sales counts are actually down significantly. So what does this all mean? Okay, translation here. Serious buyers are active, casual buyers have disappeared. This is a very selective market right now, and a selective market creates volatility. Nothing crazy yet, but things are shaking up a bit. So here's a big change coming to Fernie. We are transitioning from an emotional market to a mathematical market. From 2020 to 2022, that was all about lifestyle, Alberta equity inflow, urgency, everyone's in a rush, low rates, fear of missing out. Now, higher borrowing costs, tighter qualifications, slower migration flows, cautious buyers, longer decision cycles. The rush, I'm not feeling the rush at all. The frenzy phase is absolutely over. But the collapse phase hasn't happened. We are in what you would call a compression, and compression markets are tricky. Regionally, inventory is slightly up. Kootenay region, yeah, that slightly, ever so slightly. And that tells us that supply isn't flooding the market. We are definitely not in an oversupply situation, but we are also not in a shortage panic. Fernie right now is sitting in that kind of middle zone. It's not crashing, it's not exploding, stabilizing at high price points, and that's dangerous if you misunderstand it. So sellers, this is what you need to pay attention to. If you are a Fernie homeowner thinking about selling in 2026, listen up. You need to understand something, and that the benchmark price does not mean your house is worth more. With only 3 sales in February, pricing is highly influenced by property type, location, condition, buyer motivation. If you overprice in this market, you will sit. And sitting right now is expensive and it's a pain in the butt because buyers are selective and they're very analytical. You no longer get rewarded for optimism. You get rewarded for precision. Buyers, hey, this is your window. Pay attention to this. Now let's talk about it. This is the most strategic this is the most strategic window of opportunity that Fernie has seen in years. And why? Because sales are down nearly 30% regionally. Townhouses in Fernie had 0 sales. Condo prices are flat to down slightly. Sellers still believe prices are rising, and that gap creates negotiation leverage. You're not buying into a crash. You're buying into a pause, and pauses are super, super powerful. What about rates, you might ask? Well, hey, rates are still elevated compared to the 0, 1, 2% pandemic lows, but here's what matters. Markets adjust to their rate environments over time. Fernie isn't collapsing under rates, it's recalibrating. And if rates ease later into 2026, thin inventory plus returning demand is going to give you upward pressure again. And that's the risk that sellers and buyers both need to understand. Now, the 3 big changes coming to Fernie. Let's summarize the real actual shifts that are happening in this market. Number 1, we have volume sensitivity. With only 3 single-family home sales in February and 0 in January, small changes move the price dramatically. Expect the volatility, not smooth growth. Number 2, negotiation power shift. Buyers are in the driver's seat now. Buyers are no longer competing emotionally. They're calculating. They have their top of the market that they're going to buy into, and that's it. They're not going to do what they were doing before. Number 3, market segmentation. Luxury detached does not equal condos and townhomes. Each segment is actually behaving completely differently, and blanket headlines are going to mislead you. So what's going to happen here? Well, here's my forecast based on all this data that I've been looking at. Spring 2026 is going to bring more listings, moderate buyer re-entry, stable but choppy pricing, increased days on the market for overpriced homes, and I do not see a crash. I do not see a big surge or a runway appreciation. I see disciplined market, and that's actually very healthy. So Fernie is not immune to regional trends. The Kootenay region just saw a 29% drop in sales. That matters. But Fernie still commands nearly $1 million benchmark single-family pricing, strong lifestyle appeal, limited land supply, national buyer recognition. This is not a panic market. This is a precision market, and precision rewards informed decisions. So if you're considering selling in 2026, or you're thinking about buying in Fernie, or wondering what the heck is your property even worth in this new phase, reach out. Give me a shout, draw me a DM, whatever you got to do. Toss me a text, because this year won't reward guesswork. It's going to reward strategy. And if you're moving up from one house into another, you got to do it with a strategy. And big changes are coming to Fernie, and their question is, do you actually understand them?